Just wanted to show you how I drive with the Menox controls. This is obviously the brake and gas. Push for brake, pull for gas. And obviously to drive, I just push the brake, shift into drive, and I'm off. I think this control is probably the easiest control to use. I think it's, you know, the most user-friendly as far as I've seen some controls that, you know, you have to twist for gas and, you know, push for brake. I just think, you know, it seems like it's a lot easier to push for brake and pull for gas. This car has a auto stick, so basically you can manually shift the gears, you know, just by pushing this lever up or pulling it down. Obviously, if I'm driving with this hand on the gas all the time, it would be really hard to upshift and downshift if I wanted to use the manual mode. So what I did was I bought, for this car they make a paddle shifter kit, just aftermarket. What I did was I took the control module for that kit and I just built it into the hand control itself. This switch right here, obviously downshift and upshift, so I can still drive and shift, obviously manually if I want to. So right now I'm in automatic mode. Just kick the lever over in the manual mode and I can shift with the switch itself. It's not something I'd use in everyday traffic, but if I want to really get on it, I can. I always used to drive a 5-speed. I mean, I always had, you know, a manual shift car. So obviously when I was paralyzed, I was kind of bummed out I had switched over to an automatic. But I mean, at least this has the manual mode if I really want to get, you know, a little more aggressive. You know, I can drive the car like a sports car. It's not shifting real low. Another thing, cool thing about manually shifting in this car is when you downshift, it flips the throttle. You know, so obviously the car doesn't lag when you're, you know, slowing down to maybe make a corner. So obviously driving with the Menox hand control, it's not like driving with your foot. You know, you kind of got to get used to the feel of, you know, pulling for gas, pushing for brake. But I mean, it's really, really easy to use. It's out of the way of my legs. I don't have to worry about banging my knees into it all the time. I can just sit here at a light and obviously not have to worry about holding on to the lever. That gets kind of annoying after a while. The way I drive usually is I'll just keep my thumb obviously on the wheel, and I really don't have to keep both hands on the wheel all the time. I mean, it's kind of nice. If I want to change radio, obviously I have to take my hand off the lever. But it seems like a much more relaxed position than when I was, you know, driving the initial car, trying to get my license. And I always have my hand way up here on this lever, pushing for brake, and I think I had pulled down for gas. I think that's how that worked. A couple times I gunned it thinking I was going for brake, and I, you know, really meant to, you know, try to go for gas, or vice versa. I think this is a little more user-friendly because it makes more sense to push for brake, just like you would push with your foot, and, you know, the opposite would be obviously pulling for gas. Another thing I wanted to mention, when I got these hand controls, I had a spinner knob right down here, and I know a lot of people swear by it, but it actually, all it would do was get in my way because I always wanted to hang on to the wheel here. And when I was in a parking lot, it didn't really help me maneuver any better because it was a flat knob. I'm just used to, you know, driving a stick shift car anyway, so I was always, you know, steering with one hand for the most part. So I took it off. I mean, I know it's by law you're supposed to have it, whatever, but it actually, for me, seemed to get in my way a little bit more. And another thing I hated about it was it just made me feel, my dog's in the back seat crying a little bit, but it just made me feel a little more handicapped. You know, I always felt like, you know, with the hand control down here, if I'm at a light, you know, nobody can see that, but they could see this big fat spinner knob on my, you know, wheel, and, you know, be like, well, wonder what's wrong with him. So I took it off. I feel like I really didn't need it, and I think it just makes the car look a little bit better.